Tonight, how the consumer watchdog plans on fixing dodgy phone reception in regional areas. And a main character moment for Whyalla, the Still City to be featured in an upcoming TV show. And you don't even have to change channels.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. The ACCC is asking those living in regional and remote areas to make submissions to its mobile infrastructure inquiry. With a number of dead zones, some just a short distance from cities like Port Augusta, the lack of reception in some areas is concerning.
Out in the remote areas of South Australia and New South Wales, your mobile phone could be your livelihood or your lifeline. Now the ACCC is calling for public submissions for its inquiry into mobile phone infrastructure in regional areas and coverage during natural disasters. The consumer watchdog needs to hear from locals.
You might be on mobile teleco A network and it gets knocked out, its tower gets knocked out. Is it feasible to have arrangements in place so that you can automatically just roam onto an alternative network provider and still communicate?
If you've got a substandard mobile phone in your area, we'll let them know.
Flinders Way Road is one such dead zone, with reception dropping out for many carriers between Stirling North and Quorn, a dangerous road to be on if you're in trouble.
We actually put a large tower in there, right in the middle, just past on the Quorn side of Woolshed Flat, about 4 or 5 k's up the road, under the Black Spot program, and yet it doesn't fix all the problems.
Mr Keogh says some black spots are in surprising areas.
On such a busy road as the Hume Freeway between Melbourne and Sydney, there are black spots on that road where if an accident occurs, if someone's in need of assistance, they can't make connections.
Submissions close on March 12th, with the findings expected later this year. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
2 men will front Port Lincoln Magistrates Court on Thursday after police allegedly caught the pair trying to break into cars and houses in the early hours of this morning. Officers were called to Bridge Crescent around 3 a.m, where they found 2 men attempting to pry their way into a car. Police will also allege the pair were spotted on CCTV trying to break into a nearby house as well. The men, aged 22 and 24 years old, were charged with alleged attempted serious criminal trespass and illegal interference of a motor vehicle. Regional Development Far West has released its Workforce Development Report, highlighting the number of job vacancies is exceeding the number of candidates. The report is commissioned to help employers in the region to not just hire new staff, but to retain them as well.
Dubbed the Great Resignation. Since 2020, more and more people are re-evaluating their work-life balance, leaving businesses in the bush with more jobs to fill than people putting their hands up. RDA compiling a 92-page document sharing ideas on how to bring skilled workers back to the region.
So other than having the anecdotal evidence across the community of what the needs were from our employers, we thought we needed to have that body of evidence that was fully informed by those guys that would enable us to do, stronger planning and make sure that we started to look at holistic regional planning.
The first report was issued in 2016 and again 3 years later. Now the 2022 version has been released. The Australian government initiative noticing many changes in the Far West.
A lot has changed across our community. We need to have a better picture of what's changed, what's worked from our 2016 report and the strategies that we implemented from that, what hasn't worked as well as we'd like it to work.
The report isn't just limited to employers in Broken Hill, but also includes the Central Darling Shire as a whole, and also the unincorporated area, which encompasses towns like Tibooburra and Silverton.
I think if we consider the region, Broken Hill really is the hub of that spoke, and Central Darling Shire and the unincorporated area really critically part of our region and very big contributors to the workforce needs.
The report can be an important tool for employers across the region, as it helps them with doing their planning and also develop strategies, especially when compared to the previous document.
Being able to have that evidence, look back over that period of time and go, look, this has really started to work and we can see that that's working, or some of these strategies haven't worked and we need to go back and revisit those as a community.
The next report won't be out until 2025, but if you have any questions about it, you can contact the RDA Far West office. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The city of Whyalla will be in the spotlight this weekend as the subject of a nationwide TV show. The travel and lifestyle program Our Town will feature the city for a full-length episode, airing right here on 7/2.
Broadcasting Whyalla to every corner of Australia. This Sunday at 3:30 p.m, an episode of the 7 Network's Our Town will present the best bits of Whyalla to its national audience.
Our Town continues this weekend and we'll be coming to you from the South Aussie city of Whyalla.
Visiting the city in October of last year, the travel guides attended the city's successful air show, toured the surrounding beaches and spoke to various locals such as the Whyalla Art Group to see what makes Whyalla tick. It's all part of the program's mission to make viewers consider visiting, living and investing in regional locations.
We'll be bringing you the positive storylines from regional and metro locations and tell the real stories that continue to see these communities prosper.
A partnership between the Whyalla City Council and GFG Alliance has brought this episode to fruition, with a segment of the episode focusing on major industrial projects that are in the pipeline for the city to help attract skilled workers and potential future residents. To view this episode on Sunday, tune into this channel at 3:30 p.m.
This weekend, 7/2 Australia-wide.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, Port Augusta's damaged water pumps undergoing repairs in Adelaide. But when will they be back? And why some of Port Pirie's smelter workers are heading back to uni. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf News this Tuesday night. Port Augusta City Council is waiting for crucial water pumps to be repaired over in Adelaide. The Frome Street pumps were damaged late last year due to heavy bursts of rain, and the repair job is taking longer than expected.
Frome Street pumps under the pump. Under normal conditions, the pumps allow heavy rainfall to pass under the city with no problems and reduce the likelihood of flooding. But in December, it's believed electrical cables fell into the chamber and jammed both pumps' motors, forcing them to be sent to Adelaide, with one pump returned so far.
Fortunately, that pump worked really well for about 20 minutes, and then it too started failing. So we determined that it was overheating.
The first pump remains partially operational and is able to handle rainfall of up to 10 millimetres. However, the second pump is still in Adelaide and won't be ready until next month.
Although we have ordered it to be repaired, the second pump won't be ready until early February. So we share the concern of the community, and we are talking with that company to get another sump-style pump.
Public concerns about the condition of Port Augusta's water pumps has risen after the dramatic floods, which saw parts of the city inundated, with the area around Central Oval and Frome Street of particular concern.
Well, it's understandable that people are concerned about that. We did have a major flood event back in January, about this time a year ago, where the water did go above outside the basin itself.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
University isn't just for school leavers, and Nearstar is highlighting the importance of lifelong learning. Over 130 local leaders from the multi-metals facility in Port Pirie are heading back to school to undergo expert leadership training in the coming months.
Upskilling team members to become team leaders. Employees at Port Pirie's Nearstar plant are set to receive some first-class training right here in their backyard.
Ultimately, people work 2 minutes away from here and are able to take time out to come and either do a half-day program or a full-day program. They don't have to travel to Adelaide or anywhere else in Australia to do the training that we see as critical.
Experts from the University of Adelaide will travel to Port Pirie to conduct the training at the Uni Hub.
It will take the shape of a number of different modules and different areas of focus to really ingrain kind of practical skills that can elevate Nearstar's leadership now and into the future.
Nearstar employees are pleased the training will take place in person, as it's difficult to stay focused when learning online, especially when the skills you're learning are practical. The Uni Hub hope more individuals and businesses take advantage of the centre and the courses they offer.
To upskill and undertake professional development in terms of leadership and management, project management and other short courses, and that's been really, really popular right across our broader region.
Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us. After the break, an historic moment for South Australians diagnosed with a terminal illness. And with the river finally receding, the Central Darling Shire Council is calling on visitors to stop by the Far West. Welcome back. In a historic moment for healthcare in South Australia, the Voluntary Assisted Dying Act has come into effect from today. This means that all eligible South Australians over the age of 18 with a terminal illness has a choice at the end of their life. SA Health says the introduction of the Voluntary Assisted Dying Act will ensure those eligible have access to high-quality end-of-life and palliative care, regardless of their medical diagnosis, age, culture, background, beliefs or where you live. Late last year, modelling suggested around 140 people are likely to take advantage of the new law this year, and in excess of 40 doctors have registered their interest in becoming trained under the Act. The Central Darling Shire is encouraging people to come and visit now that the river level has finally started to drop. Wilcannia will be opening its caravan park soon, just in time for the last month of summer.
Now that the water has gone down, it's time for people to get back out and explore the region. And there is no better time to do so than in the last days of summer.
We really like to see more people travelling through the Shire, especially after COVID and now the floods, just to boost our economy.
There is plenty of activities on offer around the Darling River, especially now that the fish are biting.
Fishing is going to be fantastic in weeks and months to come. Yabbing is great at the present moment and will continue through summer and into autumn.
It's not only the river that people should check out on their adventure, but with Menindee Lakes being full, it's well worth stopping by for a night under the stars.
There's not too many places in Australia where you can just pull up and park a caravan or an RV or set up a tent and camp next to a large body of water.
For a more in-depth look around the Shire, tourists can download the Heritage Trail app.
A lot of historic buildings in Wilcannia, and we've got the Heritage Tourism app, which actually guides you through Wilcannia. And the historic tourism app also covers Wilcannia, Menindee and Whitecliffs.
When enjoying the water for the remainder of summer, there are still some things to remember when taking to the waterways.
Yeah, when out on the river or out on the lakes, just remember, about boating safety around, motor vessels on the water, and also be sun smart, slip, slop and slap.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
You can now indulge in a pub favourite while giving back to the community by heading along to a charity night in Warnertown called Schnitty for a Kitty. The Flinders Rest Hotel is known for its schnitzels, but they also have a soft spot for saving local cats. And now the pub has partnered with SA Cat Rescue to donate $5 from every schnitzel purchased. The funds go towards getting cats off the streets and into homes. And to find out when the next event is taking place, follow SA Cat Rescue and Flinders Rest Hotel on Facebook. Stay with us after the break. Port Lincoln's iconic tuna tossing contest sees a familiar face claim the crown. And one more month of summer to go. We'll have the weather details with Ruby Cairns. Welcome back. It was an exciting weekend of sport across the Spencer Gulf, with our wide range of sporting communities putting on a show for the rest of the state. A Metro soccer team travelled down for a pre-season friendly, while tourists rushed to Port Lincoln for a famous throwing event. Here's Edward McCarroll with this week's Sports Wrap.
Noarlunga United senior side travelled to the Steel City over the weekend to participate in a friendly against Whyalla Soccer Association's select side. Held at Wanderers Soccer Club on the Saturday afternoon, the pre-season match was a solid warm-up for the Whyalla squad, with Noarlunga applying pressure the whole game. Whyalla managed to put the ball in the back of the net in the first half, but after that it quickly slipped away. The travelling side Noarlunga winning the game 7-1. In Port Augusta men's A-grade basketball, the Eagles were defeated by the Wildcats 37-23, while the Titans defeated the Cobras by 8 points. In the women's competition, the Maroons were absolutely crushed by the other Spartan team, the final score 32-64. Back to Whyalla for the softball now. The Indians faced off against the Tigers. Joan Shear turned it on for the Tigers, with great hits to left field, but it wasn't enough compared to the Indians at the bat, with consistent hits seeing their players constantly cross the plate. The final score, 8-3. In the other game, the Cats took on the Roadrunners. Plagued by errors, the Cats were kept to only 3 runs for the game, while the Roadies broke away to take the win, 11-3. Finally, let's take a look at one of the more obscure sports that took place this weekend. At the Tunarama Festival in Port Lincoln, Levi Proud hurled himself into the record books, winning this year's Open Tuna Toss Championship. And it's not the first time he's won the festival's most iconic event, with him also collecting the trophy in 2018. Levi's father, Michael Proud, is also a past winner of the Tuna Toss, who has been throwing since the late 1980s. That's it for this week's Sports Wrap. If you would like your team's results featured in our bulletin, please let us know through our Facebook page.
A family of tuna tossers. How good. Thanks, Eddie. But it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Ruby Cairns. Ruby, last day of January, how was it?
Well, Maddie, it was slightly below average. For example, Snowtown recorded a touch over 30 degrees this afternoon, 3 degrees cooler than the average January high temp. Definitely not living up to its name. It was well below average in Kadina though, recording 25 degrees today compared to this month's average high temp of 31.5. Elsewhere, Port Augusta was 27.9 degrees at 3:15, 24 in Whyalla today, just shy of 27 in Port Pirie. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 31 in Coober Pedy, 29 in Woodna and Broken Hill, 23 in both Port Lincoln and the capital. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a high pressure ridge south of the Bight will continue to weaken tomorrow. A strong front is expected on Thursday with cool and fresh southerly winds expected to produce showers over southern parts of South Australia. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing up to 25 knots in the late afternoon. Seas between 1 and 1.5 metres, going up and down throughout the day. South to southwesterly swell around a metre, increasing up to 2. Possible morning showers around Port Lincoln tomorrow, 21 degrees. Cloudy top of Footcleave, 21 there. Woodna cloudy down to 11 tonight and 25 tomorrow. Whyalla partly cloudy, 24, a bit warmer for Port Augusta, 26 degrees on Wednesday. 25 in Kadina, cloudy conditions there. Port Pirie, partly cloudy, 26, Clare 22 degrees. Broken Hill sunny for Wednesday between 15 and 29 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now and starting with Thursday's outlook. Coober Pedy, Port Augusta and Broken Hill headed for a top of 26 degrees. Possible showers in Port Pirie, Kadina and Port Lincoln, temps between 21 and 24. Windy for Woodna and Whyalla. Moving on to Friday's forecast now, plenty of cloud coverage up north in the Opal City, 24 degrees windy and 21 in Port Augusta and Whyalla, 21 in Port Pirie as well, possible showers, 19 degrees in Woodna and Adelaide. And finally, taking a look, our first look at how Saturday is shaping up. Sunny in Broken Hill, 25 there. The Silver City will see some southerly winds, 15 to 25 kilometres an hour, becoming light during the evening. 25 in Kadina and Woodner as well, some clouds around. 22 in Port Lincoln and Whyalla. And that's all the weather from me tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. Thanks for having me 2 days in a row, Maddie. Back to you.
Lucky me. Thanks, Ruby. It's great to have you again. And that's the local news this Tuesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.